Well done. Give mommy your paw. Yes, good boy. Okay, let's groom you first, alright? Okay, today let's see what we're gonna do for grooming. He has very nice, neat paw fur. So I just did it last week. So I don't think we should be grooming their paw fur or his paw fur. Let's see here. Okay, he has a bit of a overgrown hair around the ear. So perhaps I think we should concentrate on the ear today. Probably is also to cut and trim off some of this fur. Alright, then let's proceed. Okay, so Mercy is in a very comfortable position. Okay, so before I start, maybe just to introduce what I have here. I have two curved scissors here. I have a flat one. And this is the thinning shears that I'll use most of the time. Okay, and this comb will help to comb through all the furs, the hair. So today we'll be doing the ears. Alright, so let's see his left ears. Okay, we're going to trim a bit of the fur here, probably around the neck, further down to the ear, and this area as well. Okay, this is the area that makes them look a bit funny if it gets too long. So there's no hard and fast rule where you want to put them, how you want to groom them. Okay, you can put them on the floor, you can sit down, or if you have a grooming table, it'll be easier because then you don't need to hunch. Usually I'll start with combing, okay, to make them feel comfortable, and also to comb out any of those fur that is not straight. Okay, this is really to tidy up, okay, before we go into the actual trimming process. Don't get too excited, too overwhelmed. All this is going to impact and affect them. So just do it slowly. Have some bonding time with them. Good bonding time. A bit of a massage before I even start. Just to let him know that everything's going to be alright. Yeah. Mercy is a very good boy. He's very used to this because I've been doing this since he was a puppy. Alright, okay, so I think we're almost done with the combing. You can see there are lots of fur here that goes out of place. Okay, but this is not going to be our focus today. We'll just do the ear part, okay, and of course to cut some fur or some hair from this area. Okay, let's start. You can see it's quite a mess here, okay. So what I will usually start off with is using the thinning shears. I will do very quick cut like this, okay. So you can see you have fur coming out from there. Okay, I'm going to comb them off very easily. You can see all this. Okay, so I'm actually cutting the bottom of the like the undercoat, you know, so it doesn't look too funny. Okay, it does not have a direct cut line. So you can see that now it's much better. Okay, we can still do a bit more. So instead of cutting now with the undercoat, I'll do a quick one. This is just to trim off the tip of it. You can't see any major cut line. Right, so like this. Okay, to do a quick one. Just snip off once, twice. Okay, it should do the trick. There you go. Alright, so I'm going to do a bit here. It's a bit thick. One. Alright. So depending on how thick the coat is for your golden retriever, if it's really thick at this bottom here, I think you can do at least 2 or 3 times. Okay, you just need to snip, snip. You don't need to do a full cut. All right, you just need to do a quick snip, and it should do the trick. And then what I'll do, like I mentioned, I'll do a quick one just to tidy up the edge. Right, it's not that thick anymore. So these thinning shears actually really works like wonders. All right, so same. All right, so let's do the inside so you can see over here. Yeah, there you go. See that? You can also cut off the edge very quickly. Be careful of the ear, so always use your finger as a gauge so that you don't overdo it. Okay, so you notice I don't use flat scissors at all because those gives very clean cut. So we can do a bit of that later, but at this moment I just need to tidy up the area. Okay. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, this area I have already did some trimming last week, so it's still pretty short, but just to give you an example how I can do it, so you can actually just use the thin shears to do a very quick movement like this. Okay, you should be able to cut off most of it. Okay, likewise, you see. All right, I try to keep the fur around this area shorter, so it's easier if I were to clean his ear, you know, when we're doing the daily routine of cleaning the ears, ensuring that the ear is clean, or if at any point in time I need to flush the ear, I will not be afraid that, you know, the liquid might wet the fur around the ear, then it becomes really messy. So just remember to bend the ear a bit, so you see it actually brings out the fur, and then it will be much easier for you when you're doing the trimming. Okay, so I don't need so much fur here, so that's why I'm cutting as much as I want. Okay, see that he's totally fine with it. Okay, so of course, if this is the first time you're introducing a scissors to your dog, don't be too ambitious. Okay, you can do a few cuts like this, just to let him or her get used to it, get used to the touch. Okay, get used to you holding the ear, folding the ear, you know, bending, flipping. So all this, you have to make sure that your dog is very comfortable with it. Okay, so I'm not expecting for you guys to be very experienced in even cutting it for the very first time when you're doing. Okay, because for me, I've been doing it since they were puppies, so it's definitely easier for me to do it. Okay, and as opposed to someone who has not done it before, who has not even tried. Okay, so during this period where, you know, there are no groomers, I think it's good at least for the owners to know some of the basic way of doing it, especially for big dogs like Golden Retriever. Okay, for me, I did a lot of experiment on them since young. They are just like my guinea pig. Okay, so you can see they are very comfortable with what I'm doing. So yeah, I mean, I did have some failures and setback before. It didn't turn out well. I overcut, it became very short, and then it has very funny patches around the ears. Yeah, because I was using flat scissors, but after knowing what the thinning shears can do, most of the time now I have resort to using thinning shears first, even before using any flat scissors to cut. Yeah, so, or if you have done it with a flat scissors, you can always use a thinning shears to correct the mistake. Okay, so you can see here, the fur in here is very much shorter, and of course, if you want, you can further trim it. Okay, so just have more patience and doing it a bit at a time. You don't need to rush into it, right? You don't need to see the result like almost immediately. All right, I rather you take it slow than to snip it off and then you can't put the fur back. Right? So all this area, you see, it will come out, especially when the ears is down. So you can see this part here. So this is also the area that I focus a lot on when I'm trimming them. Okay, in the past, I didn't really know, okay, this is the part where I need to trim. Then I realized after putting the ear down, you just have some hair that just doesn't fit in well. Okay, so you can see the difference. Yeah. Okay, so I always like to comb in the opposite direction. Yeah. So from there you can see what are some of the hair that didn't fit in just right. So you can just snip it off. So just remember that every time you snip off some part of the fur, try to comb it to see that you don't miss out one whole chunk of it, that you snip off. I think that's very important. Okay, so here it's a bit dense. All right, so I'm going to do a bit of trimming here at this edge here. You can see that it's a bit long. Okay. So you see the thinning shears does not give a very clean and straight cut. All right, so yeah, it gives a more natural look, okay, which is what I like. Okay, so if the ear flap here, the top part, okay, if for your golden retriever, if you've not been grooming your golden retriever for a while, it may become very long and thick. The thinning shears will do magic. Okay, so just do the same. You just need to lift up and do a quick snip once or twice. All right. So do not overdo it. Like I say, for now, I'm not going to do any more because Mercy's fur here is pretty short. Okay, so if I'm going to go and do it, he will look very funny later. Okay, so you can see we have kind of cut. Okay, so here is, okay, maybe I can do a bit here. Okay, you can see it's a bit dense here. So I do a quick one, comb it off. Okay, you can see there's some fur taken off from here. Yeah, so it doesn't look that dense. Then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to touch up with the straight scissors. So this is a straight, this is a curve. I'll use both. All right, so now let's just do a straight one first. Okay, I don't really like to use a straight one because it gives a very clean cut like I mentioned. But because it uses a thinning shears, so what is left here is really very little for you to trim off. To really get that clear, nice line. All right. So after I've done this part, usually I will get the curved scissors, okay, and do the shaping. Okay, so you see, you're not cutting a lot because a lot have been taken care by the thinning shears. So here is just getting the lines, the defining the line of the outline of the ear. Okay. So I'm doing it very gently because if you have snipped this wrongly, okay, the ear is going to go out of shape. And I don't like very clear defined line. Okay, for me, I like a very natural look. So like I mentioned, you can see that I've always been, or most of the time, I will use the thinning shears to do the work rather than a straight scissors like this. Okay, so you can see, all right, so the lines, it's neater. Okay, but again, if you don't like that really neat look, you can do this. All right, just snip off the tip of it. Okay, so the inner part here, right, if you are using the thinning shears, remember to do it at a quick motion. If not, you can alternatively use this curved scissors. This is what I do. Okay, this actually prevents overcutting and you don't accidentally snip off any part of their ear. All right, because it's curved in this way, even when it's cutting it, it's sitting on the ear. Okay, so we are done with the ear. So usually I'll extend it to around the ear, the fur around the ear. So especially this area, you know, this area, it gets really thick. Okay, so maybe just snip off part of it. You can see here, yeah, it's really thick. So we do the same. Okay, just do a quick snip. There. Alright, so again, like I mentioned, we comb it. If still not very satisfied, do a quick one again. This part you can see, especially it can get a bit long, so just do a quick one. Okay, he always does that. Okay, there you go. So we are done. You can see the difference. Okay, here it's pretty clean now. Okay, so unless you want it straighter, you can take the scissors and cut it, but I'm good with this. See, it's much shorter, lesser hair here, so whenever you clean the ear, it'll be easier. Okay, you can also trim further here if you want to.